Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Viviana Velázquez. I am a student of the Bachelor in English as a Foreign Language at UNAT University. This is a tutorial made to explain you a little bit about what Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 are, their specific characteristics, and also differences we can find between both of them, as well as the influence maybe they have had into the educational field. Okay, so basically we need to know what are they basically. So we could say, or establishing the differences about the definitions we can find. Okay, so what does Web 1.0 mean? We could say that this is one of the first part of the websites, right? That was the first stage which were created from the World Wide Web. This web was made up of different pages which connect just information. And, well, basically it was a source of concepts, definitions, general information where the users could read, basically, and get the information from the web. But it didn't allow users to interact each other or have maybe their own creations. It was just a webmaster, how we can say that, a webmaster experience, but it didn't represent a user experience with computers. So it was just, or mainly, based on readings and sharing information. What about the Web 2.0? Well, basically this web describes the second generation of the World Wide Web. It goes with more interactive and dynamic experience, so it permits users to interact each other and also permits to create different content where the user, him or herself, can upload or download information, sharing information with the rest of people. So it will be more dynamic experience. This interactive experience, it's not only with the users themselves, but also permits the webmasters to create a connection or a close interaction with the user. So they know a little bit more about our needs as technology users. So they developed more programs or softwares which enhance the use of computers everywhere. Well, this is about general definition. So we can set, as we can see in the slides, the Web 1.0, it is a readable phrase of the World Wide Web with the flat data. So in Web 1.0, there is only limited interaction between sites and web users, as I said before. So you just read a lot, but you can't comment, or you couldn't comment or upload information as a complement of what you are reading. This web is simply an information portal where users passively receive information without being given the opportunity to post or review or comment or make a feedback according to what they think it is appropriate or proper to post as a contribution of the web page or the website. On the other hand, we have Web 2.0, which it is the writable phrase of the World Wide Web with interactive data. Unlike Web 1.0 or Web 1.0, Web 2.0 facilitates interactions between web users and sites, so it allows users to interact more freely with each other. So we know that we can make comments or posting or uploading images to complement some information. So this web encourages participation, of course, collaboration from users and webmasters, and of course it has an infinitive ways to share the information we have with the rest of the world. So examples of the Web 2.0, for example, we have Facebook's Facebook site, of course. We have Twitter, where we can comment what the other post. We have blogs to share relevant information or any information you want to give the world to know. So it is a really good possibility to interact with the rest of the world. Now, talking about the differences between 1.0 and 2.0, so we could say that we have specific characteristics. Let's see. Basically, we could say the Web 1.0, it is it only allows to read. It is based on editors and webmasters, where they control or centralize the text which is presented into the web page. It is a very passive and static way to transform or to transmit the information. So you cannot change it, or the uploading material, it's not viable so fast as it could be with a Web 2.0. These webs were created more for personal websites, so people just post information and make their users read the content, but they didn't have any interaction or innovated ways to know what the people think about what they read or they post, the users. So basically it didn't allow collaboration from peers, just read it and have your thoughts to yourself, because you couldn't write a comment about what you read. In contrast, we have the Web 2.0, which has two different ways. So you can give information and you can get information from it. So you can post, you can comment, you can make descriptions, you can wait for the others to say what they think about what you post. So it is a really good part to share information. So this web, of course, is very dynamic and active. It is a very fast interaction among people. So as you can see, or you can remember, in Facebook, for example, you just comment something, a picture or another comment from a person who posts, and almost immediately you get an answer, or at least they don't have to, or you don't have to wait long time for getting the answer of what you comment, or a response about what you comment. So it is very, very active web software, web positions. Another advantage from this web, it it is possible to download some applications, right, to your mobiles, the smartphones, which make users to be close to the contents, right, easily and faster. Of course, you can do it with your mobile phones. You can do it with your laptops, tablets. Well, you have a lot of devices you can use to interact almost synchronically with the rest of the users. This website or this web configuration permits to contribute with the comments or the post of the rest of the users. So, for example, in blogs, you get some information, but you have some forum, or you have some spaces to write what you think about the other person posts, and you can start making a discussion about the topic itself. So it is a really interactive way to get knowledge experience from the others. And of course, the speed of the web 2.0 it's so good, so it's faster than the first version. So it allows to work collaborative and at the same time. So for this, we have some programs or softwares like Skype, where you have real interaction, a real-time interaction with people. So it is really, really fast how you can connect anywhere with anyone, and it is a really, really good way to be close to your interests. As I said before, well, this permits to generate content by yourself, so you don't need to be an expert of using websites or to be a webmaster. You don't need a lot of knowledge about technology. Anyway, if you don't have any idea about what you are doing or new programs which are launched, so you can find it just by Google it, and you get the whole information, like instructions, tutorials, everything related with the web. So it is a really, really good form, or a really good way to learn about technology without being an expert. Well, these pictures help a little more about differences we can find between the web 1.0 and web 2.0. So as you can see here, we have the hypertext language, which was the first part of this evolutionary technological advances. But basically, they were storage just in a specific server, and the information was shared to different devices, basically computers, just to read, just to get a little reading about that kind of information. On the other hand, Web 2.0 permits to read and write into the web. So it focuses on the consumer itself, or him or herself, not necessarily to the producers, right? So as I said before, you don't need to be an expert to use applications or softwares to generate content into the web. So we have a lot of participation of users. We have also the collaboration of webmasters, because they understand users need to know a little more about technology, so they provide information